Hey guys, what I'd like to do in this video is show you the Pixel G1S. This is an RGB LED light that you can put on top of cameras and tripods or just put it on the floor if you want. It was kindly sent to me by the company Pixel, so I really do appreciate companies like Pixel that send me products for review. It does help support the channel, but it will not influence what I like and what I don't like about this product. That being said, I am familiar with this already. If you look in the background, you can see a pinky purpley glow. That is being generated by this. This is the original Pixel G1, and this is one of my favorite accessories. So that's why I'm really looking forward to checking this out. I reviewed this about 7 months ago on my channel, and if you look at it here, I'll just quickly point out what I like about this. Firstly is that it's really bright. You know, there's a lot of different color temperatures and lighting intensities that you can use. It's just great at creating these effects. I love how lightweight it is. I love how portable it is. I love that there's 3 tripod threads. It just makes it easier to connect it to other devices in your setup. And you can just use this to go through the whole color range. This is like a list of all the colors that are supported, and you can see it there. I've normally got it at one static color, just this pinky purpley color that I've kind of adopted. I can change it if I want. And I'm going through it all there. So you can see it's like blues and greens and reds. And that's me back to the original 360 degrees of color. Now, this is just the mode that I've kept it in, but you can use it as a regular light. You can also just do it so it cycles through the colors like that, and it just keeps cycling through. You can do that as well. There's also a flashing mode, which is absolutely crazy. I'm sure there's some people that want that. But overall, I just love how versatile this is. It's just a fantastic little device. It's really useful. I use it in most of my videos, and I've always been thinking about getting another because it's just so useful to put on a camera setup, which is why I'm looking forward to the G1S. Now, interestingly, this original one sold for about £130 in the UK, but this new one is actually cheaper. So this is the official website of the G1S, and there it's there. This is what it's been sold on Amazon, $70 or £70. I think for this kind of light, that's really affordable. Previously, when I reviewed the original Pixel, there was a few other options at that price range, but at this price range, I'd definitely say this is competitive. Let's put it that way. It's very competitive. So I'll just quickly go through the website just to show you what this is all about. It says it's got 100 level saturation, 12 commonly lighting effect scenes. You saw some of those there as far as cycling through the colors, etc. You can see right away that they've changed how this works. They've got a dim, set, and function button. And if I scroll down, you can see it's got 81 white, 2-color SMD beads, 70 RGB high lumen, high CRI beads. This is just referring to the LED lights that are actually being used. And down below you can see it's got 2500 to 8500 Kelvin, so that will take you from your warm white to your cool white. You've got all the RGB colors, and it's got a bit here about the battery life. So 7.4 volts, 23.6 watts per hour. It's a 3200 milliamp battery, and it takes 2.5 hours to charge, and you'll get about 2.5 hours of battery life on it. I generally use mine plugged in when it's in the background because I'm doing longer shoots. But you can see here, this is one of the main things they've changed up here. They've got this kind of swivel bar down the bottom now, and this is something I'm really interested in because it allows you to connect it to different devices there. You can see there they've got it connected to, it's like the video micro on top of a camera. There's some more of the specs there. So I like the idea of that, where you've got this and then you've got your microphone and it's all sitting on top of your camera. So you should have a good understanding as to what this is all about now and what it can do, but let's unbox it and we'll see what you get inside the box. So this is the box of the G1S, and on the back you can see a number of specifications and features. I've spoken about these features already from the website, such as the color range, the battery size, the battery life of 2.5 hours. Also notes here that the LED lifetime is 50,000 hours and it's got a weight of 450 grams. But without further ado, let's get this open. So this is what you see when you open the box. The light is positioned at the top. And wow, look at that. A lot thicker and heavier than what I expected. Really nice presentation though. So I'll check what else is in the box first. We've got register your warranty. We've got a user manual here. Kind of opens up, it's in different languages here. And it opens up like so. Underneath we have the Type A to Type C charging cable, which looks quite short, to be honest. But you can use this with different Type C cables. Doesn't look like the longest cable in the world. Yeah, this is really short. Very, very short, not the best. Looks good enough though, you know, thick enough. We've got a couple of accessories here. So you've got the tripod mount there, so you can put in the cold shoe mount on a camera. And you've also got a little mini tripod ball head, like that. And lastly, we have this little bag so that you can carry the light. Really nice material actually. Not sure about the color, but the material is really, really nice. So, as far as what you get with the light, I'll just zoom out a little bit and you can see you get the user manual, you get a warranty card, you get a very short Type C charging cable, then you get cold shoe mount and the tripod ball head, like that. The ball head's quite basic, but this little mount seems quite good. And you've got the carry bag, and then you've got the device itself. So this is the Pixel G1S, and I've been playing around with it for about an hour or so to see what I like and see how it all works. And I really didn't have to spend a lot of time with this because it works in the same way as the original. There are some differences. They've now got a slidey power button. Previously it was like just a push button. And it used to have these flicky dials where you pushed in and then you moved it up and down. They weren't great. They've been improved. They've now got a dial system and there's a push button there. So the order's a little bit different. Previously it was like menu, dim and function. Now it's dim, set and then function. So change that slightly, but the whole menu system, the LCD and all that, everything works the same way. From a size point of view, you can see here that it's a little bit smaller, at least from a length and breadth point of view, but this is significantly thicker. I mean, look at that. That is so much thicker than the original. And it's heavier too. This is heavier than the original device. Now, the box says that it weighs 450 grams. That is incorrect. It does not weigh 450 grams. It's lighter than that. It weighs in at 277 grams. If I put it there, you can see it. So that's 277 grams for the G1S, which is 70 grams heavier than the original G1. So this new device is 70 grams heavier. It's quite significant when you consider that one was just a little bit over 200. But I think it's a price worth paying because look at that. Look at how many more LED lights we have there. We've now got 80 bicolor SMT beads and 70 RGB beads. And just look at it, you can see that there's more lights there. So this will give you a more powerful light. There's more RGB lights there, there's just more lights there in general. So they've crammed all of the LED lights down into a smaller area and they've somehow managed to add more LED lights as well. From the kind of attachment point of view, as far as attaching it, this is quite stiff, which I think is a good thing, but you can tighten it up there. Just tighten up that screw there and loosen it or tighten it. Now, interestingly there, you've got the USB Type-C charging port, but when you've got it in this way, you can still connect the cable, so that's good. And the idea is that you just kind of flick it around. This will attach to your tripod or to your camera or something. And I could put like a microphone there and then set it like a tripod, kind of like that. So you've got this could be on top of a camera and you've got your light, you've got your microphone all on top of your camera. So it's quite good how it works. I will say though, the original, I did like in the original that you had 3 tripod threads. Now it did mean that you had to use an accessory or something to connect this to another camera, but you could have put it like inside another or above or below another device like a camera or a light. So this was maybe a little bit more flexible in certain situations with your tripods, but for most people I think this swivel system and the fact that you can just quickly attach a cold shoe mount there, an accessory, I think that will probably be better for most people in most situations. So not really much else to say about design. Let's switch it on and we'll see how it works. Now the LCD, it doesn't seem to have any color. Previously you had this yellow there, and you can see that it's just this kind of monotone color now, like that. But I don't think that's a problem. I don't think color really helped the menu system in any way before anyway. Now what I will say though is that the manual, for some reason, the manual says here that each cell represents 20% of the charge. 1, 2, 3, 4. Clearly, that's wrong. That goes to 80%. So the battery icon here, each one must represent 25%. So right now, they are saying it's 60%. No, it's 75% charge I've got. So it's a 4 battery icon system they've got. Now, what I've got here, well, it's really quite simple. Set allows you to change between 3 different menus. So you've got 1, 2, 3. So this is the continuous light, this is the color setup, and then this is your 12 lighting effects. And that's it, 3 different menus. So with this one, you can change the dim at any time, and you can change that, whatever your setup you're in, you can change the dim. And this is going to allow you to, it's going to allow you to change the brightness, the intensity of the light. So I'll bring it all the way down, so you can see I'm at 0. I go to 1, and it switches on, like that. And you can go all the way up. So that's only at 50% there, and you can see how bright it is. And you go all the way up to 100%. Now, the dim and the function buttons actually have a button inside them. And if you click the dim button here, it takes you down in 20% increments. So I think that's quite useful. Saves you having to go through the dial. But the dial system works really well. You know, just looking at this, I've got, this goes down to 2500 Kelvin. So you've got your warm white, your glow, your warm yellow glow, but you can go all the way up to 8500 Kelvin. So you've got the cool white now. So you can through that whole spectrum from warm white to cool white. And it's the same with the colors. You know, I've got it in 325 there, which is the same as I had before. And you can see that, yeah, the glow is almost identical, but if you turn it around, you can see how many more LED lights, the G1S on my right-hand side here, you can see how many more lights there are there. It's a little bit more obvious now. You can see there's more LED lights there. So pretty good. And it's the same setup, menu system-wise. Now, as I showed you before, you've got your colors 325. Now, I find it easier to go through all the colors now because this dial allows you to go through it all the way up to, well, back to where you were before. 0 to 360. Now, previously you had to kind of just hold it down and it would go up and down like that. And it takes longer to do that. I mean, it's not a pain in the ass. You can do it. It's not a problem, but this is significantly easier and quicker to use. Now, the other, you know, that was the continuous option, just continuous light, 2500 to 8500. That's probably what you'd use on top of a camera if you're doing regular filming. If you're going to set this for a background light, you probably use the color option. Now you've got 2 options here. You've got the color, which I just showed you, going up and down. And it'll take you all the way through this spectrum of colors. But the other option you've got here, if you push the function button, is saturation. So you've got color saturation from 0 to 100%. I'm going to bring it down to 0. And so that's saturation at 0%. And you can see there, it's just a light. So if I dim this a little bit, you maybe see that a little bit better. So at that, it's just showing me lights. It's just a normal light at that point. It's hard to show you, but there it's there. That's just a light. So what I'm going to do now is put this color saturation up, and you'll start seeing the purpley pink color coming through. And see how that works? So that's the saturation. And then the other one is still controlling the brightness, the dim switch. So it's really easy to control. You know, it's very easy to get to the color that you want. You just look there and you can see the color, the number that you need, and you just go to that in the chart, and you can adjust the brightness, you can adjust the saturation. It works really well. So those are the 2 options that I would probably use the most often, if I'm honest. But there is this third option, and this is the special effects, and there are 12 effects, and you can cycle through them just by changing this. And I'll put the brightness up, the dimness up to 100. So you can just cycle through all the different options like that. There's 3 options for each one. And then you push the function button, and then there's 3 more. So you can see this one going through all the colors. This is probably one of the only effects I would use. I don't like the flashing effects. And there's a different kind of lighting effect there. There's the flashing. And again, once I'm ready to jump to the next 3, push it there. Oh, it just went. The flashing is throwing the zoom out a little bit. So that, yeah, you just move it around like that. 3 different modes. So there's 4 different, if you push the function button, there's 4 different ones there. And that's throwing my camera off because it's so bright, but there's 4 different options there, and there's 3 different options for each of those types of effects. So yeah, 12 in total. So yeah, you've got your continuous light, cool white, or your kind of warm white, whatever you want. You can go all the way back down to your warm glow. You've got all your colors there. For me, it's purple, just a continuous purple. This is great for a background light. And then you've got all your special effects. And there's a few different options here. I think, I think it's quite interesting what's there, as far as your options go. It's definitely quite, yeah, look at that. Yeah, I definitely think it's quite a versatile little thing. From a functionality point of view, though, I would say that they've not really added anything. I mean, this is brighter. It's arguably more functional because of this swivel attachment at the bottom, and the dials are easy to use. But this is certainly an upgrade rather than a completely different device, in that this will give you the same lights, the same effects, and the same options as this does. But I do think they've improved it. I do think that, cycling through colors and just selecting things, everything seems to be a little bit better than it was before. So it's one day since I unboxed the Pixel G1S, and I've been playing around with it a little bit more today. So what I'd like to do at this point is talk about battery life again, and talk about this mounting system, because you can see I've got the Rode Video Micro here. This little microphone. And I think this is how a lot of people will use this. I think so, especially if you're using it with a camera. So with regards to battery life, this is quoted as having a battery of 2.5 hours, but I can't comment on that at this point. I've not even charged it. It came with 3 battery bars. I've been using it a lot. It's still got 3 battery bars. On the surface, battery life does seem good, and it does seem like you're getting what they say you get, but you're going to have to come back to me after a year to say whether, long term, the battery life with this does hold up. What I can say though about the original, I've been using the Pixel G1 for like 9 or 10 months, and battery life for this one is still fantastic. But again, even with this one, I'm using this either charged, so it's at 100% and it's plugged in. But when I've got it just, taking it around or just using it on top of a tripod or a camera or something, I use it just like 5 minutes on, 5 minutes off. And then when it needs charged, I'll charge it. What I will say though, and what I can speak about, is efficiency. Pixel have, without doubt, spent a lot of time making this more efficient. If you look at the original Pixel G1, you can see that the battery charges at 3.85 volts and it's got a 4048 milliamp battery. Now this has an operating time of 90 minutes, so an hour and a half of use with this device, G1. But the new one charges at 7.4 volts, which is nearly double what the original was. But the battery has been reduced to 3200 milliamps. They've also added more LED lights, so there's more lights to actually power. But despite that, they have improved the operating time from 90 minutes to 150 minutes. So my guess is that they've been able to add an hour of battery life simply by using more efficient LED lights. That's my guess, that they've used more efficient LED lights rather than changing too many things internally. So they're maybe using better LED lights now, and that's why they've got such improved battery life. Regardless, I welcome it. It's all good. More battery life is always good. So let's talk about this mounting system. Now, as I said before, it's quite stiff, which I think is a good thing. You can tighten it up or loosen it up there. But what I will say is that the cold shoe mount here, depending on your viewpoint, this is either a good thing or a bad thing, but it's quite tight. Now that means that it does stick in, and it's not going to, your device isn't going to fall out. You can see there, but I don't know, but it just seems like a shave too, maybe just a little bit too small. I don't know, but it does fit my Rode Video Micro. It doesn't fit my Shure mic. My Shure mic didn't fit, but I have had a few problems with that adapter before. But bear in mind, if you have any light, any microphone, any other accessory that doesn't fit on a bracket such as this, you can use these kind of adapters, and you can always find some sort of workaround using a ball head or using one of these cold shoe tripod adapters. So I don't think that's going to be a problem for anyone. And I would say this is overall a more versatile solution. I did point out that I do like that this has got 3 tripod threads, but this just seems more practical. It just seems more practical because how you will be using this is you're going to be sitting it on top of a camera, or you're going to be sitting it on top of a tripod. So the idea is, this is the loudest microphone tripod ever because it's falling to bits. It's quite an old one. So the idea is that you can set your light and your microphone like this. You don't need to use any kind of bracket or anything. It's all built into the light. So that's good. It's one less accessory to carry around. It works really well. Now, obviously, you'll be setting that on a camera. I've got my Canon M50 all packaged up here because I'm selling it. But the idea is with a camera such as this, you put this on top in the cold shoe adapter, and then you've got your light and your microphone on top of your camera. You've got better audio, you've got better lighting, and yeah, it's a really good setup when you see it. I think this is a really smart move by the company to add this bracket, and it works really well in practice. It should be no surprise at this point that I really like the Pixel G1S, and I think it is easy to recommend this. Firstly, because it's half the cost of the original. This is a lot cheaper than the original was, but I do think they have made a lot of significant improvements as well. They've improved those stupid little flicky switches and they put in dials. So using the dial system, it's just a lot easier to get to the brightness or to get to the color that you want a lot quicker. They've got a slidey power button, which, to be honest, I probably prefer the original power button, but it's all good. They've removed the 3 tripod threads, but they've replaced it with this bracket system, which I think works quite well for most people. And I think for a lot of people, this will be an on-camera light. So this is going to be very useful, whether you're attaching it to a tripod or a camera or whatever. This is really useful, and it does obviously just tuck away down the bottom. So it's quite versatile with regards to how you attach this to different devices. Very easy to use as well. I think the RGB lights is perhaps what steals the show. This is maybe what will sell the device to a lot of people, and the flashing lights and all that. But there's a few things that really make this a good device for me. One is its portability. Yes, it's heavier than the original, but this is not heavy. It's 277 grams. It's still really light. You know, it's super light. You can throw it about if you want. It's really portable. It's really light, and the brightness is really what sells it for me. I've got really large LED lights downstairs on large lighting stands, and they can take up a lot of room. And this is at 1% just now. That's 1%. This goes all the way up to this kind of brightness, and that's powerful. I mean, it's going to blind me. That's really powerful. Now, I'm not saying this is as powerful as the larger LED lights that I've got downstairs, because it's not. But it's really not that far off it. It really isn't. And those LED lights are big, they're bulky, and they take up a lot of room. This could be attached to a stand or a camera. It's just lighter, it's just easier. And certainly when you're talking about lighting equipment or any kind of recording equipment, space is usually at a premium. There's only so much room that you've got in your office or your bedroom, etc., to film something. And these lights do take up a lot of room. And that's why I really like solutions such as this, because it's small enough to throw in your bag, small enough to take it with you anywhere, small enough to put in your camera, but you can still put it on tripods and you can still keep it plugged in as if it's a permanent lighting fixture. So there's a lot to love about this, and the fact that it's only retailing at £70 and $70, or even less actually, there's a discount for it. So I think the price is good, and overall I just think this is a fantastic, versatile little RGB light. So it's very easy for me to recommend this. This is something I will be using a lot. So many thanks to Pixel for sending that out. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope you found it useful. As always, do your own research. Look for what alternatives are out there so that you can make the best decision for you and your project. But I think if you're looking for a good camera light, the Pixel G1S is easy to recommend. Thanks for watching.